He is the first Asian American elected to the City Council and currently its youngest member. And Ameya Pawar wants to chart a new course in the way he appoints staff, deals with ward construction projects, and runs his ward office. Some say the freshman alderman is the new face of Chicago's changing political landscape. Arsha Qureshi has this profile of the alderman of Chicago's 47th Ward.
He's been described by his supporters as intelligent and thoughtful. He was also the dark horse candidate in the 47th Ward's last election.
Alderman Ameya Pawar.
Now, 31-year-old Alderman Ameya Pawar is the youngest member of the City Council. Pawar won nearly 51% of the vote in an upset, beating retiring Alderman Eugene Schulter's hand-picked successor, Tom O'Donnell, making Pawar alderman in a ward he's only lived in for 4 years.
We didn't look at it like winning or losing. We thought we would build a constituency around good public policy. You know, if I won, great. If I lost, if I got 500 votes or 1,000 votes, then that's 1,000 people that care about running a city in a certain way that talks about operating as one city.
If you look at the elections of the past year, it's really about change. You've got a third of the new city council members. You've got a new mayor after 2 decades. Is that what the people of your ward have been looking for, do you think?
I think so, but I think it's not just about change. I think what people want is a voice, and they want a role in how their tax dollars are spent. You know, we have a lot of painful decisions to make that I'm going to have to make over the next year, but I think people want to have a say.
Pawar, who grew up in Rogers Park, studied public administration at IIT and has master's degrees from the University of Chicago in threat and response management and social service administration. He spent nearly 3 years at his first job in Northwestern University's Office of Emergency Management as a program assistant. Pawar says his interest in politics peaked during the 2004 election season.
No, I mean, I knew I wanted to get involved some way, whether it was in public policy or in the political realm or some sort of combination. I just didn't know what. But I just, continued to stay engaged in the political process.
At what point did you decide, I'm going to run for alderman of the 47th Ward?
I was on the plane ride back from India. I just finished a program with the U.S. Department of State in Jaipur. And I was watching over the summer what was going on with the budget situation and drawing down some of the parking meter money. So on the plane ride back, I thought, what I can do is at least throw my hat in the ring and talk about, passing a responsible budget, structuring services sustainably and equitably.
Part of that plan includes putting his money where his mouth is. Pawar recently announced that he would return nearly half of his aldermanic salary in the wake of the city's budget crisis. Since it's mandated by ordinance, he's decided to take the pay cut in furlough days, thereby returning the remaining salary to the city's general fund.
Ameya gets it that being a politician is really about being a public servant, first and foremost. He gets it. He understands it. He's also someone who understands working with systems. So if you want to create real change, you work with and change systems.
Efficiency is part of that change. Even before taking office, Pawar developed an iPhone app called Chicago Works. It's designed to streamline how Chicagoans report problems, make service requests, and provide feedback to their aldermen. One of the features of the app includes a way to use GPS to report potholes. In an effort to stimulate interest in locally created art, Pawar's ward office doubles as a gallery, where artists can display their work.
If people come in for a parking permit and they like a piece of artwork, they can contact the artist, who all the artists are from the 47th Ward, and they can buy the work. Again, it's not my space, it's not my office, I'm just the current occupant, but this is their space and they're paying for it, so they should be able to enjoy it.
And what's the reaction been from people, from constituents, when they come into the office and they see the way it's set up, and you got to wonder for a second, am I in the ward office?
I think they're happy, but I think what's also really important is a lot of this is not based on what I did. We had a conceptual idea, but everything in here, absent or minus the computers, the copy machine, and some phones, has been donated by the community.
It seems fitting that his ward office is located inside what used to be an old jazz record store. Alderman Pawar is still evaluating the feasibility of permitting the sidewalk outside the office as an outdoor cafe. His goal, he says, is to create an inviting environment for his constituents to bolster community involvement.
We want to develop a ward council, basically replicating the ward council at the local level so that people have a voice and a say and a way to inform my decisions.
Pawar is undoubtedly an idealist. The Chicago Reader's recently published Best of Chicago issue included Ben Joravsky's profile of Pawar under the headline, Best Alderman Whose Dreams Haven't Yet Been Crushed. Joravsky points out some of Pawar's lofty campaign proposals, such as his desire to eradicate TIFs, which divert hundreds of millions of dollars in property taxes from the schools, parks, and the county.
It's a broken system, where what we need is to understand how good schools contribute to the overall well-being of a community. We can see this in the 47th Ward, but I see parents leaving. I see them moving for the suburbs when their kids get to high school. So what I'm saying is let's turn that incentivization model on its head and let's incentivize schools to keep people in the city.
And politically, Pawar finds himself in an interesting place. He represents the mayor's own ward, but he was not backed by him in the election.
Your opponent, Tommy O'Donnell, was backed by the former alderman of this ward. He was backed by Mayor Emanuel. He was backed by people like Forrest Claypool. How did your campaign deal with that?
I think the only disappointment really was when the mayor backed Tom O'Donnell, then Rahm Emanuel, only because if you look at what the mayor was talking about during the campaign in terms of Open 311, TIF reform, getting more engagement from the community, we were saying sort of the same things. So that was a little disappointing. You know, he's a guy that I admire.
He says he knows it's not personal, just politics. And now is the time for not only generating innovative ideas, he says, but putting them to work. For Chicago Tonight,
thank you.
I'm Usher Qureshi.
Last week, Pawar reportedly selected a political worker of his one-time rival, former Alderman Eugene Schulter, as his ward superintendent. The selection was made after Pawar posted an open application for the job instead of simply picking a known ally. To read more about Alderman Pawar, you can go to our website, WTTW.com/Chicago Tonight, and click on more on the story.